in terms of self-confidence, when we are talking about reference points, we are talking about those memories in your mind, those memories in your solitude, in your solitary time, that you are constantly remembering when you talk about yourself. What are the things that you associate yourself with? The things and the facts and the history and the events that you associate yourself with, normally they are, at the end of the day, your reference points. They are your reference point. Now, your reference point could be killing you, while your reference point could also be lifting you. So when it comes to self-confidence, a lot of your memories, they are the reference point that we are talking about. For example, a lady that is always looking at herself through the prisma of the rape that took place in her life a number of years back, that is a reference point. When she thinks about herself, she's thinking about the fact that she was raped and that she's not good enough. And that begins to form attitude to herself. And it begins to form a lack of self-confidence. So, and not just the rape, I'm just using that because that's what women come across all the time. But anytime you think of yourself and your reference point is something bad that has happened to you in the past, or something bad that you immediately, automatically associate yourself with, well, that is what is responsible for lack of self-confidence. Those bad memories and those bad things that have happened to you that you are referring back to, they are killing you each time. They are killing your self-confidence. They are killing your confidence. They are killing your sense of worth. And they are bringing you down to the floor. They are bringing you down right to the floor. So you know, point of reference point is very important when it comes to self-confidence. So anytime you talk to anybody and they have issues with self-confidence, you remember that word, reference point. So if you have issue with confidence and self-confidence, to a large extent, it is because you are either knowingly or unknowingly referring back to something. You are in your mind always going back to something. You have a point of reference that you are going back to. And that point of reference is what is killing you, is what is taking you back, is what is holding you back from having your confidence, is what is stealing you of your confidence, robbing you of your confidence. So there is no self-confidence without reference point. There is no self-confidence without reference point. Because for you to also become self-confident and to regain back your self-esteem, you also need reference point. You also need reference point. You also will need to refer back to something. There must be something, there must be a reference that you are connecting that is establishing your confidence. There must be a reference that you are going back to, you are referring back to, that is lifting you up. Or if you are seeing that you are going down, then there is a reference that is bringing you down. There is definitely something that you are referring to which is bringing you down. Let me tell you about the major references that contribute to our confidence in life. All lack of confidence. The number one reference point that we all have that goes a long way to influence our confidence or lack of confidence is our mother. Your mother is your number one reference point. What do you remember when you remember your mother? Is it pain? Is it a feeling of loss? Is it a feeling of blessing? Is it a feeling of confidence, self-appraisal? self-worth, or lack of self-worth. A lot of things in our lives and where we're going and where we'll go or how we behave ourselves, to a large extent, is connected to the relationship and the memory we have of our mothers. If your connection, and I'm talking about reference. So as you are growing up, either you like it or not, or either you do it knowingly or unknowingly, you are you are subconsciously referring back to your mother, or maybe to your grandmother, whoever it is that played that role of a mother in your life. In my case, it is my grandmother. So my grandmother is the reference point when I think about my life. But if you don't have a memory about your mother or your grandmother or whoever what the father figure or the mother figure was in your life, if you don't have a memory, you don't have a reconnection, it also affects you. It affects who you become. It affects how you look at yourself. And it affects your confidence or lack of confidence. It affects your personality and how you live through your life. So self-confidence of any human being, or lack of self-confidence, self-esteem, or lack of it, is dependent to a large extent on our mothers, So, or grandmothers, or whoever played the mother role in your life. If it is only negative things that you remember about her, maybe she was wicked towards you, or she was cultivating timidity in you, fear in you, or anything negative, that definitely goes to a long way to affect your self-esteem. That goes a long way to affect your self-esteem. If it is negative, then you will lack self-confidence. You will lack confidence. You will lack self-esteem. But if the memory that you have about your mother is all positive and is all encouraging, then that also sows the seed of confidence in you, and it helps you to deal with the situations of life. And it helps you in life, and you become more confident, more self-assured, and with better self-esteem in life. So that's the number one reference point that affects your confidence. Number two reference point that affects your confidence as you are growing up, it doesn't matter what age you are. Your reference point is what you refer back to. Your memory, your memory. What is the next, apart from mother, what is your next reference point that affects the life of every human being, every child? The next reference point that affects who you are, your self-image and confidence, is your father. Your father. But if he was absent, that's a big blow to your confidence. If he was never there, that's also a big blow. Even if he was there and never performed or functioned as a father, you might not know it, but subconsciously, that has taken something away from you. So your father is another reference point to how you feel and why you became who you became. Either you are self-confident or you lack self-confidence. So that's number two major factor that affects your confidence and your self-esteem in life. But when you have a father that is there, that is always encouraging you, that is always putting confidence in you, that was there for you, that gave you the value system, that affirmed your personality, that brought the value system to you and affirmed you, and that, taught you, and, led you and the presence of a father and the role of a father, it goes a long way to, to making you a confident person in life, and to making you to be ready, to be assured in life, to have respect, self-respect to yourself, to your society, and to have self-esteem and self-confidence throughout life. But if when you think about your father, everything you think about is positive, you can change the world. Such a guy, such a man or a woman can change the world. If whatever you think about your father is how he poured into you, how he is good example, excellent example, perfect example, how he's an achiever, how he's so good, how he has character, you are unstoppable. You are unstoppable. But if whenever you think of your father, it's voidness, you see, emptiness, you see. Whenever you think of a father, is no reference point, lack of it, no reference point. Then, of course, throughout life, you will be discovering that there is nothing, you don't have an anchor. There is nothing to hold on back to, no reference point. And what reference point is supposed to do is to give you a push, moral push, is to give you a push from the back. Reference point is supposed to fill you with energy, to renew your strength. But when that is not there, nothing to refer back to, nothing. So it beats you down. Fathers, or maybe you might not be your biological father, but maybe you had a father that was the reference point that you could refer back to as a father. That plays another important role in the way you feel yourself through life, either confident or unassured. Next thing that affects your self-confidence, the next reference point that affects your self-confidence in life is siblings and family members. Siblings and family members. So these things are what affects you, either you like it or not. Either you like it or not, these things were programmed into you from when you were a child. So in your environment where you grew up, you probably had your mother, your father, or your mother or father, and then you had some people who were, to you, regarded as your family members or your siblings. So who were they? Were they positive examples or negative examples? Were they good examples or destructive examples? At that point, you might not know, but now when you look back, what is the connection? What is the reference point between you and the family members that you grew with? I'm not talking about family members that you didn't know, that you didn't grow up with. I'm talking about the people the family members and the siblings that were around when you grew up in your childhood. Those that were present. They are the ones that determine what your confidence is. So when you think about your childhood, or when you look back in your life, or when you look at your own life, and you look at your environment, what do you see in your siblings? Are your siblings a negative force or a positive force? Do you see them as contributing something positively to you or something negatively to you? Next point, apart from your siblings and family members, the next thing that affects your confidence in life is your environment. The whole environment that you are growing up in, the whole ambience, the whole environment that you are growing up in. Was it a village? Was it a town? Were you growing up in a megapolis like New York or Chicago? Or you are growing up in Lagos? Or you are growing up in a small village? Or in a provincial city somewhere? Or you are in a province somewhere? Your environment that you grew up in. What was the environment like? Do you have electricity? Do you have water? You didn't have? Do you have transport? Do you have cars? You didn't have? So what was the environment like? What was the condition of living? So what was the condition of that environment? What was the condition, the environment? Was there crime there? Is it safe? So what do you remember when you look back at your own environment? Do you remember positive things? Is it giving you encouragement, energy? Is it infusing in you self-confidence and assurance? Or is the opposite? Or maybe when you remember and look back and look at your environment, you don't want to think about it at all. You want to run away from it. So your environment also goes a long way to determining your confidence, your self-confidence, who you become, and why you are behaving the way you are behaving. Next point that influences and determines your self-confidence, apart from your environment, are your neighbors. What is the association you have with you, yourself, and your neighbors? A lot of times, what you see in your neighborhood and with your neighbors actually determine what you become in life. So what is the people around you doing? What is the habit? What are the habits and the behavioral patterns of people around you? What are the influence they had on you? How did they affect you? Positively or negatively? So it is what you remember what you remember will go a long way to influencing your confidence. If you grew up in a good environment, good neighborhood, that will be a blessing to you. So the number 5 point is your neighbors. Your neighbors. It's different from environment. Environment is just the condition of the whole place, how the environment looks like. So your environment is different from your neighbors, but your neighbors is what we're talking about now. Next point that affects your confidence, next reference point. So these are all reference points. And all of us, either we like it or not, we refer back to all these things at one time or the other in our lives. You cannot remove them from your biography. They are there in your subconscious mind. And they are contributing and they are fueling your self-esteem or lack of it. So they are there. They are reference points that determine your confidence or lack of confidence. Next point, reference point that affects and determines your confidence is schools and classmates. Schools and classmates. So another thing that affects your confidence or lack of confidence is school or classmates. What is your memory from school? Or what is your memory from schools? What about from classmates? A lot of people's children have been damaged by their classmates. Classmates have actually determined the future of a lot of people. Schools have also determined, either to the good or to the worse, the destiny of a lot of people. So classmates, schools, is another reference point that we all use and that affect us, either positively or negatively. So your self-confidence largely depends on all these factors that I've mentioned. So the way you feel, the way you are, is most likely connected to one of those factors. So if you are confident, it is one of those factors that have contributed to you. If you lack confidence, it is also one or many of those factors that have contributed to you being who you are. There are other factors, of course. Other factors are God, if you believe in God, or you didn't believe in God. So faith in God or lack of faith in God also has contributed to your confidence or lack of confidence. Next thing that could affect your confidence as a reference point. So God is a reference point that affects your confidence. But apart from God, another reference point that could affect your self-confidence is degree, education. Education degree. Where are you educationally? That also could affect your self-image. Are you educated or you lack education? You have low degree or high degree. That affects you too. Another thing that is a reference point for people that affects their self-confidence is the kind of job they have. The kind of job that they have. Those ones who have good jobs, they have good self-confidence about themselves. That's a good reference point to them. Those who don't have a good job, it also affects them somehow. So your job could affect your self-confidence. The society that you live in, not the environment where you grew up now, but this country that you live in, the society that you live in, also affects your self-esteem sometimes. So these are the factors that affect us and our self-confidence. And I think you people should, I'm having an assignment for you right now to reflect and think on your childhood and on your life. Do these factors really affect you? Have they contributed to your confidence or lack of confidence? Thank you so much for watching our videos. Now, we need to spread this word and we need to do it together. For that to happen, we need your help. Just 5 little steps that you could help us to spread the word. Number one thing we need you to do is to like the videos. Please go like this video right now. Number 2, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Number 3, we need you to press and click on that notification bell. You see the bell? Go press on it. And number 4, we need you to go comment. Write your comment, good or bad, just write what you feel. Number 5, share on every platform. Share on Instagram, share on Facebook. Just share and spread the word. Thank you so much.